Hello and welcome to yet another video, and in this video it's going to be a little bit different because I'm taking you guys out with me to take pictures. Well, I'm taking this camera out with me to document how I take pictures so I can show it to you guys. And the way I like to take pictures is actually take it slow, so that's why I waited for the evening. If you've subscribed to my channel for long enough, you'll probably noticed that almost a year ago, in fact 11 months ago, I did a video on early morning photography. So this time I feel like doing late evening photography, which is something I actually do quite often, and I thought it might be interesting to just show you guys. And before I move on, I just would like to show the gear that I'll be taking today. This is actually for photography, so my tripod is just a normal B3 Manfrotto, and then I have three lenses, the 16-35, my most used lens, and then there's my 50mm and my 24-70. Now, why do we need a 50mm when I have a 24-70 with me? Simple. Even though this is an L lens, for some reason my Lightroom has a better lens correction for this 50mm 1.8 Canon STM lens than this lens, and I'm not sure, but maybe it's just my Lightroom or if it's really my lens. But oh my god, the siren outside, I hope you're not catching that. But my Lightroom sees the image from this lens at f9 sharper than from this lens. That is weird. I'll be taking this remote with me as well, simply because I feel like doing a long exposure, and I feel like the 30-second exposure on here won't be enough. So I also have extra batteries. I'm not planning to stay outside for a long time because it's in the city, so one might be enough for this. I don't think I'll even go to one, but if in any case, I'll have another one for this camera here, which is the 70D, and it's recording this very camera. Then this GoPro, in case I would just want to mount it on top of here for a time lapse. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much the gear that I'm bringing with me outside. And yeah, let's shoot. So I finally finished packing up, and yeah, now I'm ready to go. But before I go, I would like to explain why I'm actually doing this, well, making this video rather. So I just wanted to show you guys that it's actually also good to go out at night, especially when the city is slowly going to sleep and everything is more calm, is because you can actually see the city from a totally different perspective and photograph a lot of things differently at this at this particular time. So if your city is more of really busy city, then it might be even later until you can actually go out and capture it. But the city where I'm currently living in, which is Rotterdam, it usually goes quiet, especially today, Sunday evening, at around 8:30 or even 8, and now it's 9:10. And yeah, so by the time I reached my location is around 10 p.m. or 10 or 10:30. I'm not sure if I walk though, but I could take the metro or the tram, but I think I'll walk. Oh well. But yeah, do try to go out and take pictures, and let's go. Hey, so I found my first location, and it's pretty much on the other side. So if you can see the bridge, it's gonna be somewhere on that side, so I have to cross the river, because I usually take pictures either on the beach, on the bridge, or on this side, my side, but I'll try to take it from that side. still not there, but there's nobody else out here but rats. That's pretty cool. Finally made it onto the bridge, and if you follow me long enough, you'll probably, well, I mean by on YouTube and on other social media like Instagram, you probably will know that I've taken pictures from this very spot so many times. So facing this direction, also facing over here, but yeah. It's just that tomorrow I also have lectures and classes to attend, but I thought after looking at the weather forecast, tonight is just like the best night to take pictures of. So why not just do it tonight rather than wait like weeks and weeks until the weather will probably get better again. But yeah. Anyway, it's the location where I will be taking pictures will be right there. So just not far away, but it feels pretty far away, if that makes sense. Turns out that this location is actually my first location and not over there, but it's good enough. I wanted to take the picture of this bridge here, the green one, right over there. And now I have it on like, well, the timer to 1 minute, which will end in like 4 seconds. I can't get it in the middle, like centered, because of this thing, and now I have to turn off my long exposure from my timer. Okay. Busy. But yeah, you will always find like unexpected viewpoints. But I was saying earlier, because of this Watergate thing, I can't get into the center of it. And it's taking double the time to actually process because I have the denoise on. Like after long exposure, I have it set to like denoise automatically. So yeah, so now I have to wait another minute to see the final result. But I hope it's gonna be good. The lighting and everything was perfect, but because we're on the bridge, long exposure isn't really working that well because it's a bit shaky. Otherwise, I love the framing, but it's not usable because of the shakiness from the bridge. Well, the vibration that I'm getting from all the cars passing by here, so give it another go, and then I'm just leaving to my first location, which is back there. And now it's starting to rain, so this is actually my second location. So the original plan was to have that bridge there as the subject, but because of the Watergate over there, and after walking all the way down there, I still didn't see any good composition of this bridge. And there's also an island over there which kind of ruins and kind of like throw off the balance of the image. So I'm just like ignoring this bridge, and since I already have enough images of this bridge anyway behind me, I thought why not just focus on that bridge, which is a bridge that I rarely take pictures of anyway. And I found another composition over here, which is obviously I'm not on the bridge, so it's gonna be a lot more stable. Yeah, so right now my frame is to include these white thing in there. I don't know what it's called, if there's even a word for it, but yeah. And then I'm just gonna go over there and then just like take pictures of the bridge without these white things. Yeah, and right now I'm using the 24 to 70mm f2.8 lens, but I'm using it at f14, and I have it on 2 minutes long exposure, so that should give me a nice smoothness in the water and the clouds, which is something I'm actually looking for, and that's the whole point of this whole long exposure thing that I'm doing. But yeah, I'm kind of enjoying the view right now and having the whole city to myself pretty much, apart from the sound of the cars. But, oh, that's my alarm. I have to switch this off. Yeah. But yeah, otherwise it's pretty nice. I wish the lens on this camera that I brought with me is letting more light into the camera. Not that the camera is good in low light anyway, it's good, but just good enough. But for video it's just, it's a 70D, so it's pretty old, but it gets the job done. But the lens on here is like a 5.6, but it's the only ultra wide angle lens I have for my crop censored camera. But I think it's still okay for a vlog. Haven't vlogged in a while. And now I'm just waiting this to be denoised, so just to see the result, if I should do any adjustments, like put it down to maybe 1.5 minutes long exposure rather than 2 minutes, because I just feel like the 1 minute one was just a little bit too dark, but I think 2 minutes might be a little bit too bright. But since my camera is better at recovering highlights than shadows, especially in long exposures, why not just go for a long exposure? Brighter is better in this case. And since Lightroom for some reason just darkens my images anyway, yeah, brighter is probably the way to go. Okay, it's official. I'm actually taking the picture now of the bridge. So, because I'm here anyway, I thought why not? And now I'm doing another 2 minutes long exposure here. Still the same settings though, 2 minutes, 14 aperture, well aperture 14, ISO 100. And I'm just seeing from the clouds, it's not completely cloudy and it's not really plain, so I hope to see a lot of smooth clouds movements there, and also from the river itself. And yeah, and since I thought why not, I'm already here, I better just take a picture of the bridge, even though it's not really something I 100% like, but I think I might make certain things happen in post-processing. But yeah, that's the beauty of photography. Sometimes you feel like on location it might not be nice, but maybe in post or maybe even viewing on your monitor, on some other days, you might find it to be nice or can make use out of the image that you take. But yeah, I think this is going to be my last location for this episode, guys. I will definitely be doing long exposure photography again in the future because it's really, really fun. I just wanted to see how I can do this. It's still kind of nervous vlogging in the city, even though no one else is around me, or maybe 3 or 4 other people are around me. But oh, that's my alarm for 2 minutes, and now it's officially longer than 2 minutes. Anyway, yeah, so far I'm pretty much liking it, and yeah. And it's 10:30 now, and if I were to move to my second location that I had in mind, I think it will be too late and it will be no more movement, and they might actually turn off the lights already because it's actually in the city center and it's also a market building. But yeah, so I'll save it for next time, as I'm pretty dark in the frame. I think now you can see me. Anyway, yeah, see you at home. So I'm actually back at home now, and I just finished looking through, well, imported all the images into the computer, and then looked through all the images, convert them from RAW to JPEG because there's not really that much to really edit. Well, I didn't really plan to edit that much anyway, apart from lens correction, maybe just recover a bit of the highlights and shadows, and just put some vignetting on, as I usually do, but it's very, very minor. And it turns out that I was actually quite surprised. My favorite shot ended up being the image that I thought I would not take, because it's actually happened to be the image of the bridge, the Erasmus Bridge. But in the video I said that I wouldn't be taking a picture of that bridge because I couldn't find the right angle for it, but it happened to be my favorite image out of all of the images that I've taken. And it's just really, really surprising, and also goes to show that just because you think that that angle might not work based on what you see and what is at the back of the camera screen, but it doesn't mean that you would not like it later on. So just always shoot, because you might end up liking the images later, and you might find the use of it later. And apart from this image, another image where I thought I would not use as well, and I didn't use because it's blurrier than I thought on a bigger screen. It was actually expected, but it was actually the image that I shot on the bridge of the other bridge, which I don't know the name of the other bridge. But because there were so many cars passing by, the vibration just from the bridge just transmitted through the Gorilla Pod that I had on the bridge. Even if I were to use my tripod, because it was still on the bridge, the vibration would be there anyway. And yeah, so out of this shooting, if I have to pick one image, it would have to be that wide angle shot image of the Erasmus Bridge. Yeah, and I actually took two different angles of that. One zoom in, and one just a really, really wide shot, and I ended up liking the wide shot. I thought, like, when I was shooting, I thought I would like the zoom up shot, like the close up shot of the actual bridge more, but I ended up liking the wider angle shot of that bridge. But all of the images, including the blurry ones, will be shown by the end of this video, which is pretty much soon. But yeah, one top tip is to always turn off image stabilization if your lens has image stabilization, because if you're doing long exposure, the image stabilization can actually cause the blurriness in the image, because the optic inside the lens is always constantly moving and looking for any shakiness. So if you're on the tripod, the optics is still moving because it needs to work. So yeah, always turn that off. And also to always make sure under which aperture your lens actually work best at, because what I noticed right away from my 24 to 70 millimeter and 16 to 35 millimeter, obviously there's a difference that goes without saying for these two lenses, because one is newer as well and better optics and everything. Both are L lenses, by the way, but my 16 to 35, I don't even need to zoom in 100% to know like that huge sharpness difference. And I think you might be able to see it through the video as well. I'm not sure, because it's in full HD and it's even more compressed on YouTube, but I was able to see it right away. The contrast difference, the sharpness difference between the two lenses is just, wow. It's like day and night difference. And yeah, I'm not saying the 24 to 70 millimeter f2.8 original L lens is not a good lens. It's a terrific lens, but once I had my 16 to 35 f4L on it, there was a clear winner without even having to zoom in. It was just that obvious. Anyway, you can probably hear from my voice, I got even more sick from the shooting. it was really cold. Obviously being near the river means also even more cold temperature because of the wind and everything. But yeah, I hope you find this video useful. Go out and try long exposure at night, especially like late night. It really depends on cities to cities. So if you're in Amsterdam, like 9, 10, you'll still see a lot of crowd. But here in Rotterdam, it's not so much. And it's especially on a Sunday night. But who knows? Elsewhere, you might, like your city might even go quiet and calm at around even 8 or even 7:30. And yeah, it really depends on the timing and also where you live in terms of like when when is the sun setting and everything, because now it's winter here and at 4:30 it's just already pitch dark. So yeah, that's that. And yeah, I hope you find this video useful, and please do go out and try long exposure photography. And yeah, thank you very much for watching and have fun shooting. Bye.